About this time last year, I made a video talking about some tackle I picked up at a local swap meet. The St. Catharines Game and Fish Association puts on a nice little tackle swap meet here where you can get some pretty great deals on tackle and pick up some really neat stuff made by some local bait makers. Today I got a bag of goodies from that show and I'm here to show them off to you, so come with me as we take a look at what I picked up. To start things off, I'll talk about some Flashabou here. I know bait making and jig and fly tying is a pretty niche topic that I don't really get into much on this channel. However, I have started, tying some skirted jigs, and something I wanted to add was some tinsel, which is what Flashabou is, just to give my bait some flash in the water. Here I have some red Flashabou, and just standard metallic red, and I'll add this into my skirts. I have some, black and red flake kind of stuff that I want to add this to, just to pretty them up a bit. This here is polar flash, and so this is more like just a crystal kind of, almost has like an iridescent look to it. Very nice color, standard Flashabou that I'll be happy to add. These are only $4 Canadian. I did head over to a local tackle shop and I saw them for like $7 for a little package of Flashabou. So overall, that's a pretty good deal and I'm happy to pick them up. So I'll get some boring stuff out of the way first. These here are some 1/8 ounce pencil drop shot weights from POW Casting. POW Casting is a local company to me. They do a lot of jig heads and that sort of thing, basically any lead casting. So these aren't just any old drop shot weights. These actually have the tie on section there. As you can see, it's just the standard loop. A lot of drop shot weights now, actually I'd say the majority, are kind of just made where you pinch the line onto them. These have just a standard loop, which make it really good for the free rig. A free rig is a technique where you have a drop shot weight, that runs free on the line. Then you have an EWG with a craw or that kind of style of bait on the back here. And so what happens is as you cast that out, this weight falls first, kind of allowing that bait to sort of flutter down. In the last video I showed you that I picked up some bellows gills, and those are going to pair really well on the free rig with this, I hope. Next up, I made a stop at a booth from Grimsby Tackle. Grimsby Tackle is just a local store here. They have a pretty good selection of stuff. They had a lot of discount bins at their booth, so I definitely made sure to pick up some things there. I picked these up. These are Berkeley Fusion 1/8 ounce swim bait jig heads. I fish a lot of shallow water, so a lightweight jig head is kind of a nice idea for me. You pair this with a paddle tail or a soft plastic grub, that sort of thing. It's a very easy, versatile bait to throw. These were only $3, so really, it's such a low cost, it's fine for me to pick up. I like the Fusion underspins. I have not used the Fusion standard jig heads, but I'm sure they're going to work just as well. They also had lots of plastics available, and while I definitely am not in need of any more plastics, I made sure to grab some. So these were in a box where it was 3 for $10. My friend I was with, he did pick up the other 2 packs, so I was able to get these for a very small price, and usually $11.50 in store, and these prices are in Canadian. Just something I couldn't pass up on. And so these are the cut tail worm, but they're on the Ned style bait. This color here is the Okeechobee craw. So you have a little bit of blue flake in there, and you have green pumpkin and black flake on the bottom. So yeah, very standard color that I like to throw when I'm bottom fishing. Green pumpkin, black and blue, pretty much everything I like to throw. So yeah, that's a really nice color that I'm happy to get, and at a discounted price, why not give it a try? I always think the rage tail kind of worms and stuff are pretty neat, like a cut tail but with a little bit more action on the back there. Yeah, should definitely entice some bass on a Ned rig. So sticking with the plastics here, this is a 3.8-inch swim bait in the trout color from Choppy Water Bait Co. They had a very nice booth there with a lot of selection. My friend, he actually picked up a whole bunch of stuff. He picked up a few different types of plastics, some jig heads, and I also got an underspin, which I'm going to show in a minute. We kind of just grouped our order together. We were able to get a pretty nice deal. So I'm busting into this here now. So you have like a green pumpkin on top, clear on bottom. There's a little bit of pink iridescence. I don't know how well it shows on camera, but yeah, a little bit of a pink, tone to that clear plastic on bottom there. Very standard paddle tail swim bait look to it. Almost swing impact look style, but that body is a little bit more like shad shaped. So yeah, pretty nice plastic overall. This feels pretty high quality. Sometimes with these pours from people who do it themselves, you kind of get some air bubbles and stuff. I really don't notice that with this plastic. There's a little bit of I forget what they call that, where the plastic kind of seeps over, but overall this is a very high quality plastic that came in at a pretty fair price. So yeah, here I also picked up a nice little underspin head, and we'll bust into this. This is a 3/8 ounce underspin in the perch color. This is kind of gonna, you know, compare perfectly with that plastic. The underspin's something I always throw, and this one's pretty standard. You know, what I like about this one in underspins, as well as I've said before, I like that it has a wire that kind of takes that blade away from the plastic, you know, really bulking up that profile. That perch color is more or less a green pumpkin. Got a nice yellow eye on there. Very standard underspin. So there you go, that's the exact pairing that I'm looking for. So you have that 3/8 ounce underspin, nice big silver blade on there, and the 3.8 inch trout swim bait. Pretty nice little setup there. JDM brands can be hard to find, you know, stuff like Evergreen, Jackall, OSP, Depths, you know, especially OSP and Depths, but even Jackall, which is like a more of a standard brand in a lot of places, is hard to find here. So I was really hoping to find some of this stuff at the swap. Unfortunately, there just really wasn't much. I did end up, however, picking up a Jackall prop bait. This was like $10, I believe, something like that. This is the Jackall eye prop. It's a sinking 3-inch, 3/10 ounce bait, and this is in the HL Wakasaki color, it looks like. I'm gonna bust this thing open here and take a closer look. The prop bait is something that I really have never fished in my life. I can't even really tell you how to fish this thing. We're gonna take this out and explore a lot this year. Just a really cool looking bait that I see a lot of people on YouTube, you know, use, and I want to give it an attempt. So you have two propellers on each side there, two very sticky treble hooks, and a pretty nice looking color. Some gold, kind of silvery, kind of clear, a little bit of everything. I think that is that Wakasaki color, if I'm reading that label correctly. Yeah, pretty nice looking lure there. So one more thing I picked up there was a bucktail jig. I just felt like I really had to, as I made a couple of videos in the past really explaining how I've, you know, started to familiarize myself with hair jigs, and a bucktail is something that I really wanted that I could get tied by, you know, a guy, just tied by someone, right? A lot of these things are kind of stuff you pick up from your local jig tires, and you can get really good stuff. So while I was there, I felt like I had to pick up at least one. Now, I don't know much about, you know, hair jigs or bucktails or anything like that, so I can't really tell you whether this is synthetic or natural, or, you know, how any of that goes, but this is a pretty nicely tied, you know, very neat looking bucktail. You have some white, a little bit of gray in there, two red feathers, which, you know, really bulk that up, and a little bit bulkier than the standard bucktails I saw there, which I like, you know. We did really well with the Minnesota mullet, which was a very big, bulky hair jig. This one's a little bit more slender, but still has that bulk to it, and a really nice, you know, natural white color. This is a 1/2 ounce jig. We fished a 3/8, you know, in the fall there, and found it was a little bit too light. That hair really does act like a bit of a parachute, so had to size up a little bit. And that's it for the swap, but we're not quite done. I wanted to share this with you. I picked this up at the tackle store the same day. You know, I just wanted to keep that shopping train rolling, of course, so I went to my Peter's Tackle here and picked up a dark sleeper from Mega Bass. This is in the 2.4 inch, 3/8 ounce size. This color is called the Donko. It's basically blackish, kind of brown, a little bit of gold on the belly there, and gold stripes in the sides. So this bait is meant to mimic a goby or a sculpin. You know, we have a lot of gobies here in all our waters that the smallmouth bass just love to feast on. So a goby bait kind of just makes sense. This is a lot smaller size. This thing's gonna get gulped, you know, early on in the season. And yeah, the Mega Bass Dark Sleeper. The Z-Man kind of makes a thing called the Gobius, which I really like. I just, you know, this is the original, I guess. This is the one everybody talks about. This is the one that has all the hype. I just wanted to give it a try. So that's all for today. And hopefully that's all for tackle as I accumulate all this stuff. And now I have to organize a bunch. I have to figure out what it is I'm going to actually take to the bank. So expect some videos on that sort of topic. I want to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And tight lines out there.